What is this shenanigan? An unplanned Q&A. I was doing my Sunday scrub. If you follow me on the blog, then you know what I'm referring to. And I was hitting the tail end of it, so I thought I would open up Instagram, see what you guys were up to, and we ended up doing a little Q&A session. And there were some good questions that came in, so I thought there was value in uploading the audio here for you. Let's see, questions such as, what do I think of the whole Advocare debacle? Advocare is a company in the network marketing industry that just announced they're changing their whole business model. So there are some questions and thoughts around that and what that could mean for doTERRA. So I give you my truth talk on that as always. Questions such as what to do when you're not feeling it, not motivated, how to get your husband involved in your business. It was a good convo, so I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Whole Fit Talks. This is a show just for you. Somebody interested in taking ownership of your health, leading your life, and living your legacy. And I'm so pumped you're here because I am another you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing this out with your friends and with your teams. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hey friends. I am doing a little bit of Sunday fine-tuning, and I thought I would invite you to join me. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, every Sunday I actually, in the beginning when I started doing the Sunday scrub, it took me hours. But as you learn, when you do anything with consistency, you start to just get it really dialed in. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, every Sunday afternoonish, I do it in about an hour now, where I set up my whole week. And it gets easier over time, but I give you a pretty good checklist on the blog. If you want to hop over, and if you're wondering what the heck I'm even talking about, you can go to, I believe it's wholefit.com/blog/the Sunday scrub. I think that's what it is. So I'm just finishing up my Sunday session, and I thought I would hop on and see what you guys are up to. See if you have any quick questions. We can hang for a little bit, just as I do a few things that don't need my full attention. I'm actually just finishing up a little planning for Chris's birthday tomorrow. He's going to be 43. So I have some fun things planned, but I can't tell you what I'm doing because he might actually hop in. Maybe he won't, but he might watch this live. Do you guys, do your husband/wife, partner, whoever, mom, dad, do they watch your broadcasts? Kind of weird sometimes, right? What are you guys up to? Let me know if you have any questions or topics you want to talk about while I finish a few things up. It's getting a little bit hot in my office here, so I've got this like sweaty glow going on. You love my speech, Mark? Which speech is that? Were you at leadership? I'll just look every once in a while to see if you have questions here. Going to look at possible puppies to bring home? That's so weird you say that. We were doing that this morning. We went down to there's a local animal shelter that was doing a little doggy walk today, and we went down there to go take a look. We've applied a few times, but it's actually really neat. There's this shelter called SCAR London, SCAAR, and I love what they've done because they do these little photo shoots with the dogs, and they tell this whole story about the dog, and they totally pulling your heartstrings, right? But it's cool because these dogs that are in shelters are in high demand. There's so many people that apply to adopt them. You really have to act quick. So we've been hoping to find one, and we have had a few, but we haven't had any luck. What would you recommend doing when you feel like you've lost your momentum? For me, I need to often step away and do a few things that bring me joy and help me feel inspired in some way. Sometimes it's as simple as going and doing a workout. Sometimes I'll go walk the mall and listen to a podcast. Specifically right now, I'm working on a program for our team. There's a lot of moving parts to it, and it's a new health habits program. And what I find happens is I can feel really stuck in the overwhelm of it, even though, you know, it's not a question of needing more help. It's really about just bringing all the pieces together and knowing the bigger vision of it, and just needing a really good long session of pulling all those pieces together. And that overwhelm can lead you to not start, right? And so when I'm feeling that, then I baby step it. I take everything and I drill it down to a micro level. So for example, like here's my legal pad of all the things I need to do tonight for this program. And I look at it, I'm like, oh, you know. So what I do instead is I break it up into 30-minute chunks. Okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm just gonna do these 2 things, and then I'm going to go fold some laundry. Because if I sat down and tried to tackle this whole thing, I get discouraged. So maybe that's helpful for you. If you've lost your momentum, it's often that you're burnt out. You've been burning it too hard. So you need to do something that lights you up. Find your joy. Be inspired outside of what you're working on. Okay, and you'll find that inspiration starts to flow again. What else is happening? There's like 50 of you on live right now. We're just hanging on Sunday. Carolyn's in her pajamas after a day at a food festival. Yeah, I probably would be too. Essentially Living Mama says, I need to get back into the Beautiful Life Lab. I need more time freedom. So the cool thing with the principles within the lab is that it's not about January 1st. It's an ongoing process. Somebody just commented in the lab that she just took her inbox down from 34,000 emails. She finally got down to inbox 0. And here's why inbox 0 matters. Because I get into this conversation all the time with, there's various ways of thinking around this. A lot of people use their inbox as just folders. They sort things in there. But what I have learned happens, even when people think that that's a good way to manage an inbox, they'll have like 50,000 emails in there. A lot of those emails sit up here and they cause a huge weight on somebody. And so in the lab, I teach some practices around inbox 0, like snoozing and making decisions around when the right time is to deal with things, having, you know, canned responses, things like that. In inbox 0, this will serve you if you're somebody who could not do effective work in flow state with a messy desk, okay? Some people claim that they can, and I'm just not one of those people. So this is where, hence the Beautiful Life Lab came to be, because it's just all of my practices around focus management and getting into flow state. So yeah, get back to the content. I'm thinking of, let me know if you guys are in the lab, let me know if you like this idea, but I'm thinking about doing a 6-month, like a mid-year challenge. So, I mean, because we had 10 days of challenges at the start of the lab for the start of the year. But I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to do a micro version of that now that we're 6 months into the year. Nicole said, I don't know how I missed this, but can you talk about how you set up your week with a planner or task list? Yeah, I actually mentioned it at the start of this because I'm just finishing up my Sunday scrub, I call it. So if you go over to holfit.com and you click on the blog, you'll see a blog post called the Sunday Scrub, and I give you a checklist of what I do to set up my week, to set up automation to happen. Hey, Nadia. So check out that blog. Enamored with Nature. Cute name. Ideas for current customers who haven't connected for years. How do I invite them to a big shindig so that they actually show up? You know, I think first thing, it's like how do they want to be reached? Everyone's a little bit different. So you have to know your audience. Like older people love Facebook. Older people, I say Facebook because that's where they're hanging out, right? So, you know, people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, they really like Facebook. If you have a younger customer base, They like texting, but they mostly like Instagram. So what I would say, if you have something you're wanting to invite people to, show up where you know the majority of them are. Email marketing, I mean, is a way for you to determine that at least they get it, because social media things move so fast. But I just think it really comes down to the energy we have around something. I just went live I have a group for people on my doTERRA team. It's silvers and above, and we have, I don't know, I think we have at least 300 people in there. And I just went live with a pretty sharp message around being a business owner and not seeing the gifts that we have at times that are given to us in our business, specifically if you're building doTERRA, for example, and you have, you know, these free events that doTERRA does, but you don't bring that excitement and that energy to inviting people. That matters more than anything. It's the way you do something. It's creating something that people want to be a part of. I was just talking about that in my live I did with them. Think about what that looks like. And you know what, the filter I always pass things through is what would actually appeal to me. You know, if someone's inviting me to something, yeah, one sec. I've shared this. I did a broadcast on social media tips last year. That's another one you can find on my website, holfit.com/social media. I talked about how your ideal client, I don't actually agree with a lot of the definitions of that are out there. There's a lot of marketing people that will tell you that your ideal customer is not you. It's you have to think. And hi. I believe your ideal customer, the person you're attracting to your business, is you a couple years ago. And so if you think about yourself, when you're marketing something, think about what would attract you, what would draw you to that thing. And that's just how I invite. I bring things to life in a way that would catch my eye. Hey, Carolyn, if you go to holfit.com/blog, you'll see all of my blog posts. It's probably 4 or 5 blog posts back. It's called The Sunday Scrub. You'll find it there. It might be holfit.com/blog/The Sunday Scrub. I'm just not totally sure on the slug. How many hours a week would you say you work on your business? I admire so much the way you break up your week with family and business. You know, I probably, if I was to actually quantify the hours that I work, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 with a workout in the middle, is what I'm consistently putting into my doTERRA business and brand. My business, because 80% of my business is doTERRA when it comes to the people I touch and add value to and the way that I am compensated. 80% of my brand is now doTERRA. The 20% would be programs I'm launching throughout the year, you know, just adding value to people just to do that, not with anything else attached. And so, yeah, my consistent work hours are about 9 to 3, and then a couple nights a week I might do a later night. Do you need something? No. No? Just want to hang?
I just came back from practicing tracks when I was sweating.
Okay.
Didn't really need to share that one.
Am I teaching in-person classes in London? No, not really. I taught about 300 or more classes in the beginning for the first couple of years when I was building doTERRA. Almost all of my work now is in the online space because I have a huge global community. So I don't really teach local classes, and I have so many leaders in the local area that do. And you know, my strength is impacting people online and in building that trust there. And I know there are many people in my online community that will take years. They want to continue to be educated and receive the value, which is why I show up. Long game, right? So I have a pretty big audience online that I always am looking for ways to impact. But if you live in London, I can connect you to an in-person class if you want to go learn with somebody. Melissa, what recommendations would you give to a husband wanting to take more of an active role in his wife's doTERRA business with the goal of partially phasing out of their own work? That is so specific, right? Like, if your husband has skill sets that would benefit you in your doTERRA business, perhaps he's in graphic design or marketing or finance, or maybe he's had experience as a business owner, he's going to know right away where he can help you up level, right? So I think that what I'm picking up here is the husband is wanting to take more of an active role. So I would spend a day in the life. I would have him spend a day in the life with you during working hours and help him invite him to identify where he knows he can help you. Because the trap is, in doTERRA anyway, most doTERRA leaders are women, because most doTERRA leaders were women or mothers with a pain point in their home. They saw that the oils were completely changing the rituals, routines, and health within their home. So then they decided to do a business. This is how most people in doTERRA end up doing a business. It wasn't intentional in the beginning. And so then they want to have their husbands join in, and they start forcing things on their, like all of a sudden the husband becomes the person shipping their packages, or perhaps hopping on and doing coaching calls or whatever, and the husband never really wanted to do that in the first place, right? So I think you really have to have a conversation about what would excite them in your business. If you look at all of the pieces that you could do, and any help is great help. And the one thing I would caution is that you don't just bring your husband home from work because you financially can and make him the permanent babysitter for your kids if they're not in school yet, for example. I see a lot of issues start to come up when that happens. So I think it really needs to be something that he decides and knows that he can bring to your business. What do I do with my hair daily since I only wash it once a week? Approximately one to two times a week. It depends how sweaty I get during workouts, but I use a dry shampoo that I make with arrowroot powder, and I mix in different oils: rosemary, peppermint, marjoram, lavender. I'll do like a couple drops of each until I know it needs a little bit more. And then I use a makeup brush and massage it into my roots. I use doTERRA shampoo and conditioner 1 to 2 times a week. And I love that. Here's the thing, it takes a couple of weeks, and for some people more than a month, for their scalp to regulate if they've been used to washing their hair every single day, if they've been used to using hair care that has a ton of crap ingredients in it. It's going to take you a while for your scalp to regulate to that, but you do come out the other side, and a lot less hair drama once you do. You're welcome. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it running for a couple more minutes. If you guys have any other questions. Sometimes this is a little easier than doing something scheduled. Can I ask you guys something? I'm considering, I've been doing the Whole Fit Talks broadcast. I started off doing it weekly at a scheduled day and time. I actually started doing it on Periscope. I don't know if any of you here were around for the Periscope days, but I started doing it there about 3 years ago. And then I shifted it to once a month, about 6 or 8 months ago. But Facebook is kind of, do you guys, okay, here's my question. Do you guys prefer just impromptu things like this? Or do you value having something scheduled and consistent? Any updates on the neck treatment? It's going well. I'm using yarrow palm, frankincense. I talked about that. Someone said they're in love with all my sunglasses. Honestly, I get them from anywhere and everywhere, and sunglasses is something I will not spend a lot of money on because I sit on them. I spend a lot of money on shoes, and I spend money on my health tools, such as doTERRA. But I do not spend a lot of money on sunglasses because I like to have many different options, and I like to be able to sit on them and not cry. So I don't know. I don't buy them from like a specific place or brand. wherever. Yeah, see, everyone's saying different things. Some people prefer random, some people like scheduled things. I used to think that scheduled was the way to go, but then the numbers never really grew and they started to just drop. And I think that Facebook has just experienced a drop in general with engagement in that way. Yeah, I used to think, you know, if something's consistent and I want to show up for people at a consistent day and time, it starts to build into their, you know, routine, but it's just not showing that way. Yes, I use Nitovi. I have one at our house. I don't do them for people, but I think it's pretty cool. Just the way, because there's so much we don't understand about the body, right? There's so much there's other things at work, frequencies. Everything does carry a frequency, right? So it makes sense to me that, that we match that. What else did I see? A lot of you are saying random. Yeah, I know random's fun because it gives you that feeling like, oh, I caught something live, right? Any oils I'd recommend to help with hormonal imbalances? I'm just so not the expert in that, but I will point you towards the expert. It's Dr. Maritza Snyder, and she has a book on that I would recommend you read. I just haven't entered that phase of life, and I mean, obviously as a woman, you deal with certain hormonal things, but when I am more in that season, I will be more interested in it, and like everything, I will learn and apply and then teach. But yeah, she's your girl. Do you think you'll ever make your Healthy Habits program open as a paid program for people not your team? I don't think so, because this was a collaboration with my leaders. Unless we did something where everything was donated to Healing Hands or something. I'm not sure. But what I am going to do is once we're like done the program, I'll hop on here end of next week and show you just what we've done so that you could create something similar. Concern about MLM models since Advocare got in trouble with the FTC. No, here's what's just happened. Just so you guys understand this question, Advocare was an MLM company, a multi-level marketing company or network marketing company, similar to the model doTERRA is in, that had been around for quite a while. And unfortunately, last week, the owners of that company decided to shift it out of a network marketing model into just like a retail model. So removing that whole business model. And what you experience through a decision like that is the owners of that company. My feeling on this is that they've made some really poor decisions in their business over the last few years, and they found themselves at a point where they had to make kind of a last minute decision, not last minute, but last ditch effort to save their business. So they cut everybody from the business that has helped them get there. What you see happening there is a lack of integrity within the ownership of that company. What you will never see in doTERRA is a lack of integrity. And I say that so confidently because when you just know someone's heart based on so many experiences you've had with them. I know the 7 owners of doTERRA in a way that not a lot of people do because of a lot of experiences, a lot of conversations, a lot of conversations I've been part of, a lot of opportunities to see them just living with that integrity. When people show you who they are, believe them, right? And I have never once seen something happen within doTERRA, a decision that was made that made me question that. And that's very important to me. And so it's not apples to apples. You may have heard this before, but doTERRA is in the network marketing or MLM business model, but they are not doing it in that typical way. It's why you don't feel grossed out when you experience someone in doTERRA, or at least I assure you, you won't hear. And with many other leaders like Keely, who's on Essentially Obsessed, hey girl, you just won't, because it's people showing up with a pure heart to help people and to help, because they're living it. They're living it themselves. I can tell you that 100%. That's why, and it's why this model is so amazing, because, you know, why would you want to go buy oils off a shelf and it just end there? doTERRA quality couldn't have ever really lived in that space, because nobody would even know the difference or the power of using them. And, you know, when you purchase doTERRA through a leader, you become part of a movement and a community, and there's so much value in that, and sharing and education, and it's truly such an incredible gift. So I don't know, long story short, but it's just not the same thing. And you're going to continue to see, I have to charge my phone. You're going to continue to see a lot of companies fail over the next few years, because leadership is everything. Integrity is everything in a business. And you know, I really believe in the network marketing model, because it's about community. At the very root of it, it's about providing people the opportunity. I mean, honestly, you guys, let's be real. If you have followed my journey up to now, if you're thinking about network marketing is that people do it for the money, it doesn't make sense that people like me continue to show up and add value. Why would I? I don't have to. Why would I? If it wasn't about what it was from day one. There are leaders within the industries that make that story not make sense, okay? Does that make sense? Are you with me on that? Keely is one to follow, right? I'm sure a lot of you do. Essentially Obsessed, she's on here right now. You've got to look at the people within something. It's everything, right? So if you're considering an opportunity within network marketing, good, because you need to. In today's day and age, you need to have something that is building a legacy business for you that you're going to have in 10 or 20 years. It's very important, but make sure you look at the leadership, the ownership within that company. It's very important. And that's why it's so sad for the people that were within Advocare. I don't know anyone personally, but it's very sad. We've been having some really great weather here, which is so exciting, because it's been like rain for like weeks, you know? So you just want to, but I have to like, you know, when your house has been used to wonky weather, that all of a sudden it's like, whoo, we got to go. I'm grateful we have options to turn the air up, right? But all of a sudden you're like overheating. I mean, maybe it's hormones. Maybe I am hitting that stage. Who knows? Who knows? I'm 39. I'm sure it's going to happen one of these seconds. So what else is going on? Anyone else have anything else they want to talk about before I go? I'm trying to book a ticket for something and it's not going through. Probably because I'm not super focused. Yeah, okay, I gotta go. I gotta get this done. I might upload this. It's way longer than 10 minutes. Now my husband's on. Do you guys see him there? Make sure you go follow him, because make sure you send him request 1976 p. It's gonna kill me. Every time I mention him on here, people request to follow him, and he's like, all of a sudden, like trying to manage social media. He only follows like. Have I ever heard of Trello? Yeah, I use it. I use it with my assistant, Jill. I like it because you can just keep cards on everything. I don't know if Ashley's still on. Ashley Shirokas. She's one of my diamond leaders. She loves it. I think she might even have a program she recommends on it. I'm not sure about that, but. Hey, Kristen. Do I wear aromatherapy bracelets? I haven't in a while. Yeah, I need to dig those out. What I love to do is, I posted about it on Instagram today. I love to take oils and run them through my hair. Because especially if you have like the Touch roller bottles, they have a little bit of coconut oil in them, and it just helps to add a little bit of gloss without being greasy. There, see now my hair is my aromatherapy jewelry. Now I smell like roses. Okay, I really gotta go. Okay, I'll see you guys, I don't know when, maybe on the next impromptu live. Hey, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you liked the content, please consider hopping over to iTunes and leaving a review so that more people can find this show. If you have a question or a topic suggestion for future shows, head over to holfit.com/pod question. You can also find all past episodes and show notes at holfit.com/podcast. See you next time.